Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up demonstrator in the United States. Sorry, I'm going to move this just a little bit more, but more specifically in Alaska. And today I have been promising that I would do a video on a like a junk journal or something like that. It's not really junk. Hold on just a second. So I am going to do that for us. And I do have to apologize. I do have a little bit of a cold or something. I don't even know what I've got. But hopefully everything will be okay and you'll be able to hear me just fine. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is, I know some of you may not have seen the book already, so I want to give you an idea of what we're going to do. Now, when you look at this, don't look at the paper per se, unless you want to buy this paper for yourself. But look at the functionality of it, or look at how it's put together, because that's more important than actually the colors that you see. Okay, because you're going to choose your own paper, whatever they happen to be. It could be a retired designer series paper, it could be a current designer series paper. This is a current paper. I'll show you that in just a minute. There's also some different ways that you could bind or close your book. I've got on this one a very simple ribbon, and it can either slide off or I can untie it, whichever I prefer. And I'm just going to untie it. Now, you could put this one under your paper on the back before you put this paper in, and then glue it down so that it's always there. It doesn't get lost. It doesn't, whatever. But that's not the only way. I also have some magnets here because I could, and I've got 3 different sizes here that you can see. And I will put the link to these down below so that if you want to get any of these, so we could put a magnetic binder on this. Now, the problem I have with that, and it's not really a problem, but it is an issue, is that if I put it, let's say, too far in, then my book may not be able to expand. Okay, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to put it too far out either, because then it kind of starts looking funky. I'm still going to do the magnets. I'm going to show you how to do them on the one that we're going to start today. This will be at least 2 videos, possibly 3, but I will link each of them so that you can find them pretty easy. These magnets, by the way, sorry, are not something you can get from Stampin' Up, so I will put the Amazon link to each of those down below, like I said, in case you want to get them. All right, let's open up the book. And the first thing we're going to have over here, this is, I had showed you a preview of the book a while back, and I had not had this finished, so I just added some paper in here. I said I would staple it. I decided to put string in there instead of, and I did not cut this string off, instead of stapling it, but whatever works for you. And there's something on the back of that one. I'll have to either tear, well, maybe it came out. But I'll show you how to do this. This is done with watercolor paper, and then I used 3 different colors of blue or purple, and put them on the magnetic plate. This, not magnetic plate, the glass plate, and sprayed water on them, picked it up with the watercolor paper, let it dry, and that became my book. So very, very easy. But I will show you that in another video. On this one, it is one sheet, excuse me, of designer series paper. I just simply cut the paper in half at 6 inches, and so 12 by 12, so cut it in half at 6 inches, and then I glued the two ends. Where are the two ends? I think right here. Yeah. So I just glued the two ends together, this end and that end, and then it makes a folding thing here. Now, what I can do with this is simply put pictures on it. Like, let's say this is, well, that wouldn't be anywhere near the right size, but let's say this is my picture. I can put it on here. I can put a little tab up here and talk about what that picture is. And I can do that on both sides of the whole little book. And it fits in this little slot. Then I turn a page again. And here's a pocket. This is made with the, oh, what's it called? It's called the Pocket Thoughts, and here are the dies to do that with. And whoops, these are not sticking where they're supposed to be. That's okay, I'll fix them in later. But Pocket Thoughts and the dies that go with that. So we'll look more at that later. This tab itself is made with the tab, and you can get either, excuse me, you can get either the punch or the dies. And I chose on this particular one the punch because I think it is much easier, and most of the time I'm not going to need a hole in the middle of my paper, which I would want for the dies. That's the reason I would choose the dies over the punch, but I wouldn't want that. So, just made the little card. Now I can pull that out. I can make it like this, a little book that I can either write things on, or I can put pictures in there, or, you know, whatever it is that I want to do. I cut the hole out with, I believe, this 1.5 inch hole punch. Over here is another one of those pocket dies. This is a layered, if you will, and I did staple this one, but you can't see the staple because it's up under there. And so I'll show you how to do that at some point. And again, I think I said this little pocket here. Some more pockets, lots of stuff you can put in these. You can put ephemera, you can put notes, you can put pictures, you can put whatever you want, and I will show you how to do those as well. And so this is our book. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing you're going to need is 3 8.5 by 11 sheets. Now, you could do this with whatever color works for you. You know, white, gray, navy, you know, whatever you want. This one, can't even remember what gray this one was. Or this. But what you want to do is to be sure, sorry, my dogs keep barking. I had to put them in their kennel so they'd stay there. But you need 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11. All right. With those 3 sheets, 2 of them, we're going to do pretty much exactly the same to them. So the first one, we are going to score at 3. So we're going to put that in there. Get our cutting blade out of the way and score. We're going to score that at 3. We're going to lift that blade up. We're going to score at 9. So I need to pull out my bar. And I'm going to score at 9. Okay. Be sure it's up against that edge. Give it a good score. Go out to 9 1/4. Now you could change these measurements slightly if you want to make the book thicker. So sorry. All right, so let's do the next one. Remember, it's exactly the same. So we're going to score at 3 on the long side. I didn't mention that, but it is at 3 on the long side of the paper. Wait a minute, I got to get that exactly in there. Pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, score at 3, 9, and you know the next one, 9 1/4. Okay. Be as precise as you can. I don't know that you have to be exact, but the better that you score, the better your book will turn out to be. And then on this one, we're going to score at exactly 5 1/2. Okay. And then we want to fold and burnish all of these on those folds. So let's pull out, there's a helicopter going over my house. So we're going to burnish that one. And then these two we're going to burnish as well. So fold them, burnish. Now these two being close like this, you just want to be kind of careful. Make sure you get them pretty much right on. Okay, like that. Again, fold that 3, the 3-inch score line, and then my 2 9 and 9 1/4. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to take these two that are exactly alike and I'm going to lay them out exactly the same. So I've got my 3-inch edges over here. I've got my, basically, I think 1 3/4 maybe. I don't know what it is. But from that 9 1/4. And so you can see this is going to be my spine right there. Okay. All right. I'm going to put them right together. Now, what you're going to do, you are not going to glue like this. You are going to put this one, ask me how I know that. You are going to go behind this 3-inch flap with the little flap, and you are going to line it up with the outside line here where you have scored your card base. Okay, so to do that, I am going to take my glue and I'm going to put it just on this one. Okay, the skinnier one. Going to go in. I want to get my corners and my edges. And because it's going to be holding this book together, I also want to put a little bit of glue in the middle. Now, it does give me a little bit of time. I'm going to put a little more glue in there. And I am going to line it right up along that outside edge. And do not go over the score line. Okay, get it on there, make sure it's nice and even. Okay, and give it a good burnish. Okay, all right, there we go. Now, all right, now what I'm going to do is I have the 3rd page, and I am going to put it right up against that fold line. Okay, so I've opened this up. This is the right page. This is the left page. The left page is glued to the back of this right one. And I am going to take this with the folded edge, and it is going to go right here. Now, I could glue this down, the whole thing down, just like I did before. But, to be honest, I like the little pocket. So I am not going to glue it down. What I'm going to do is go to the edge right here. Be careful you don't get too much glue out. Just put a little bit along there. Now, I will tell you this. Let me go ahead and get that paper right up in there. Get it lined up. And fold it down. And I'm going to squeeze it just the teeniest little bit. You see how I pulled in from the edges and that gave it a little more of a gap there? And I want those to stay down, so I'm just going to put some punches on them. Okay, what I wanted to tell you about gluing that down. You could glue the whole thing down, okay? No problem there. You can do that. You can use, I use the Tombow liquid glue, whatever it's called, the green glue, okay? I like this. This is a very sturdy glue. It's very, very nice, and I love it. I keep it in my little adhesive holder. I could also use my tear and tape. The problem I have with the tear and tape, I could put, okay, this is glued enough. I could put the tear and tape right along each of these edges and be just fine. The problem is this doesn't really dry, okay? My green glue dries. I'm not going to be able to stuff something in there and get it stuck, you know. So I go to stick something in there and I get it stuck up under that glued area. But I could with the tear and tape. The tear and tape is great. It's really strong. And if I were gluing this whole thing down and not creating a pocket, then I would probably use tear and tape because it is an excellent tape. So, just so you know. All right, this is basically done. Now, I can glue this down to give myself a pocket here. I can glue this. Well, no. Do not glue this down. I almost said glue that down. This is my spine, okay? And my book is basically done other than decorating, okay? So there's the little spine there and the little spine there. Now, what you could do, I said you could do different measurements. If you wanted, let's say, a 1/2 inch here, because you really want more, you want to put more stuff in it, then you could make these a 1/2 inch instead of the 1/4 inch that we did. And you're going to have to play with that. I have not played with that, so I do not have that done, but I would do the extra 1/4 inch on the inside, not on the flap side. I would do it on the inside. No. It would have to be on this side to make it match. Okay, this side. All right. So just FYI. Now, I am going to go ahead and glue this down, this flap. And again, I want to go fairly close to the edge. Like that. Okay. Again, I'm going to push it in just a little bit. You see how I just pushed from either edge to give myself a little bit of room in there because I want to be able to put stuff in it. Okay? So, that is done, and that seems to be already gluing very well. All right, then you've got to decide what paper are you going to use. Now, I sort of skipped this, but you really want to decide what DSP, again, designer series paper, that you're going to use before you choose your card base, okay? So, let's move this out. This is the one that I've decided to use, I believe. This is an old retired paper in good taste, but it's got a lot of really great wood grain and tile and fabric, like rugs. Let me go back. Sorry about that. See all that tile and the, what is this called? Yeah. but it's gorgeous paper. Okay, so I would advise on the designer series paper, unless you're really just totally comfortable doing one with the current designer series papers, I would go ahead and use an old pack that you might have lying around. Can't remember the name of this paper right off, but I will either show you in a few minutes or I will share it down below. But anyway, we now want to put something on the front. We want on the inside of the flap, the outside of the flap. We want to put something on the back here so that it covers up this seam like this, so a full sheet. Then we want to do all of the insides here. We want to put paper here and here. Now you can do different or you can do the same. And we've got 2 pockets right here. Okay, so where is my flap? I should have a flap here. Did I glue this down wrong? I may have. This is funny. Okay, hold on. So here's the inside. This one flips up. Okay. So, oh, this is too funny. I put it in. So you can do it either way. Okay, do you see what I did here? Instead of gluing this so that I have this page that flips out, I glued this edge to this edge, and now I have pages. That is so funny. I've never done that before. Oh, well. So either way works. You know what? Don't make it a big deal. I will create this in another one just to show you how to do that. But either way, it's going to make a gorgeous book. And I may even use this paper for both of them. So then go through, decide what you want on your front. Remember, you are going to decorate it. This has not been decorated any at all other than putting in some papers and cards and pockets and books and a photo album. Okay, so we will do that. Now, something I want to show you and that you might consider is that these packets would make excellent resources to use to decorate your book. Okay, like I could use this flower on the front, maybe not, maybe the black and white one, but there's a whole packet of them here. I haven't opened this because I have other opened packets, but I could use these. Now these are saying something ephemera, something for everyone ephemera pack, labels and layers ephemera pack, and fully flowering ephemera pack. Those are current items that are in the current catalog. And let me see. I will just pull that catalog out. And right here they are on page 19. So you can get envelopes to go with them, but you can also, that coordinate with them, but you can also get these, the ephemera packs. There are 4 different ones, and there's a stamp set that's thanks, happy birthday, but you don't need to get that if you're going to be doing it for a book necessarily, okay? So, to put your pages in here, I am going to suggest that you take a measuring tool of some sort. I have this one. I don't even know what it's called. Let me get it here so that we can see. And measure everything. So this is just over, if you can see that, just over 6 inches, 6 1/8. Well, I want to take at least 1/4 of an inch off of that. So I'm going to go to 5. This is not one of my favorite measuring because it doesn't show me where my 1/2 inch is. But let's see, 1, 2. Okay, so here's my 1/2 inch. So 5 and 7/8. So I want 5 and 7/8 by, so it's 8 1/2, 8 1/4. I'm going to cut myself a piece of designer series paper that is 5 and 7/8 by 8 1/4, or 8 1/4. Okay. And I'm going to glue that on. However, do not glue it on unless you want this, where you tie the string around it or the ribbon around it, because I'm going to show you how to put your magnets on, or how to put the string. I mean, that's pretty self-evident. Put a string behind here to put that on. So that's how to measure your paper, though. Take on all your designer series papers. For all of these, be sure you measure from line to line. Take a 1/2 or 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Take a 1/4 of an inch off, and then cut. Do the same thing this way. Now, the other way you can do that, and I do this just as often, is I put it on here. I line it up where I want it, right there, and I make a mark, and then I go immediately and cut it. Then I come down here, put it back on here, make a mark here, and go immediately and cut that. And the reason I do it immediately is because it's so easy to lose those marks on your paper if you don't pay a fair bit of attention to it. All right, so I hope, sorry about that. I hope this has helped you. I'm actually glad that I made that mistake, because you can do it either way. And I had just always done it the other way, so I'd never considered doing it this way. But I love it either way. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to pick up next time where we left off on this one, and I will create another one that is the way this one is, so that I can show you and glue it in correctly, if you will. All right, if you would, I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up, if you would share this video, if you would subscribe if you have not already done so, and leave me a comment below whether you liked this or not, and whether it was clear enough. I do not want to be confusing. And I can certainly redo the video if it was not clear enough. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I would love it if you would show us your finished product once we've done the video, all the videos on Facebook. Thank you so much. Have a good one.